All right, I'm here on this crisp fall morning, and it really got me excited for hunting. So I was going through my backpack and my tote, getting some things together for a hunting trip I have coming in a few weeks. And it made me realize how much money I've wasted in the past on hunting gear that I don't use. So I wanted to make a video to help new hunters or maybe guys that are on the fence about spending their hard-earned money on specific hunting related items. So I put together a list of 5 tips to help you guys save money and be more successful in the woods. So I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to show you my gear, show you what I use, and give you some tips to help you be more successful this season. Alright, so number 1 on my list is camouflage. And you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on camouflage to be successful in the woods. I'm going to show you what I got in my tote here. This is just a standard tote. I don't remember where I got it. I've had it for years. The tote itself is not as important as what's inside of it. Just having somewhere clean and dry and scent free as possible to keep the scent out of wherever you're storing your hunting clothes is really important. So I'm going to get it open here, show you guys what's in here. Just got standard hunting pants, medium weight. This is Habit brand. I bought these at Meijer's on sale just before Christmas, and they're the Scent Factor brand. Scent Factor, whatever. Does that stuff really work? I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I don't think that's as important as playing the wind and just keeping everything clean and scent free. So moving on, socks. I always keep socks in here. Many different kinds of socks, thick, thin. You really got to be prepared for the weather when you're bow hunting, because the weather could vary from 20 degrees to 70 degrees, could snow one day and rain the next. Especially here in Michigan, you really got to be prepared for the weather. So I just keep a multitude of different layers. We got heavy layers, got thin layers, just a multitude of different layers, so you can kind of add and subtract as the weather calls for. Keep an extra hunting belt in here. Try and keep everything that I'm going to be out in the woods with clean and dry and scent free. Good little tip for you guys. Some of you might be wondering what this is and might be thinking, well, that looks like an old sock. Well, it is an old sock. So what I do is I'll take these, I'll take some old socks and I'll wash them in scent-free detergent, and then I'll take and fill them with cedar wood chips. It's like bedding for, you know, your hamsters and stuff like that. You can find them in the pet supply section at your stores like Meijer's and Walmart and stuff like that, or any pet supply store. And I fill my socks with these, and this does a lot of things, really. For instance, let's see, where's the pants here? Every time you're out in the woods early morning, you got dew that collects on the bottom of your pants. If you're walking through swamps, the bottom of your pants are always going to be wet if you're not tucking them into your boots, that is. So you can kind of take these and just roll them right up like that, and it'll absorb the moisture out of your hunting clothes overnight, which is really nice. Another nice thing about these is it makes for a great cover scent. It's got that nice cedar smell to it, nice natural cedar smell, and helps keep the bugs away, keeps ticks off you, keeps the mosquitoes off you, especially if you're hunting in the warmer weather. And another tip on these things that's really great is when you're doing your laundry, when you throw your clothes in the dryer, you can take a couple of these, throw them right in the dryer with your clothes. It helps your clothes dry faster, and the heat, I think the heat kind of makes the smell from these permeate your clothes more effectively. These are a really great thing to have. I got probably 5 or 6 of them in my bag here. So this is my hunting jacket, same brand, Habit, bought it at Meijer's, same time I bought the pants. Nothing special, it's Scent Factor. Like I said, I'm not sure if that does anything. Personally, I wouldn't waste my money on the scent stuff. Take a shower, keep yourself clean, play the wind, and you'll be just fine in the woods. I even keep my wallet. This is another handy little tip. I just got this real thin little wallet. When I'm out in the woods, I don't like to carry my full wallet with me. So I'll just stick my ID in this little pocket here, and then you can put your hunting licenses and maybe a credit card or any kind of cash you think you might need while you're out. Other than that, just got gloves in here, like I said, a bunch of these things, and that's about it. So I hope these tips help you guys, especially people on a budget or new hunters. You don't want to spend a bunch of money, and there's really no need to go and buy a $200 hunting outfit to be successful in the woods. All right, so number 2 is arrows and bolts. I don't think it's necessary to spend a bunch of money on expensive arrows and bolts. I've shot professionally for years. I've shot in competitions and leagues. And one thing I can tell you is that the manufacturer of the bolts that you buy makes very little difference on their accuracy. I just got a bunch of random throw together bolts here. I got an Easton Power here and a Victory Archery, the Decimator bolt. Just the cheapest thing I could find at the time, but that's what I use. Cool little tip I wanted to show you guys is I never shoot my bow with my quiver attached to it. I think it's kind of cumbersome, and a lot of guys are doing a lot of things to quiet their bows down, and I think this is something that's often overlooked. These are pretty well made. I mean, this here is a cheap one, and it's even pretty well made. It's solid, it's got rubber on there, but I feel like when you're shooting your bow, these can kind of clank together, and especially here where it attaches to your bow, I feel like there's a lot of movement there, and it really adds to the sound. Not only that, but this makes your bow heavier while you're shooting. So I never leave this on my bow when I'm shooting. So the tip I wanted to show you guys is I just installed a little eye bolt in this old quiver, and then I got a little strap here. I think this might have came off a camera. I just kind of had it laying around and threw it on there. But when I'm hunting state land, I'll hang this in a tree, off a tree branch, or hang it on my stand. And of course, when I'm on private land here, I got my little hook that I'll hook that on. So it's just a neat little trick that I wanted to show you guys. I hope it helps you out. As far as my arrows here, these are the Carbon Express arrows. These are Mayhem 350s. I've had these for years. I've probably had these maybe 7-8 years now. And I think the reason they've held up so well is I rarely ever use them to practice with. Just because I know what they're gonna do. Like I said before, they all shoot about the same. So I know what they're gonna do, and they were nice arrows. I spent a lot of money on them at the time. And since then, I only use these for hunting. I'll use the cheaper arrows for practice, or if I want to take a shot at a woodchuck or a squirrel or something like that. I always keep at least one of the cheaper arrows in my quiver with me. So that's it for number 2. Hope you enjoy. All right, number 3 on my list is hunting apps. Hunting prediction apps, to be more specific, and apps that claim to predict wind direction. Now, I've used a lot of these apps over the years. Some I've paid for and some were free. But what I can tell you is across the board that none of them have been very accurate. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't apps that can help you have better success in the woods. A weather app, for an example, can be a great asset to us hunters, so we know to dress accordingly. Also, apps that show you property lines can be a great asset when you're scouting new properties, or just to make sure you are where you want to be. Now, I'll leave a link in the description below of all the apps that I use. Alright, so number 4 on my list is hunting optics. Now, I don't think it's very important to spend hundreds of dollars on the latest and greatest. Buying that $500 spotting scope is not going to help you as a bow hunter. A good rangefinder is probably the key piece of equipment that will help you as a bow hunter. This particular model is a Bushnell Yardage Pro Sport 450. It was probably the cheapest model they had in the store at the time that I purchased this. However, it does work well, and it served me very well over the years because I take good care of it. Every time I'm done using this, it goes back in the bag, and the bag goes back in my hunting bag. The same with my binoculars. This particular model is a Vanguard 7x35. I didn't purchase these new, I purchased these at a garage sale a number of years ago. However, they do work well, and they have served me well over the years, because as you can see, I keep the dust caps on at all times. When I'm done using them, it goes back in the case goes back in my hunting bag. These do stay in my hunting bag at all times, but I found that I find myself bird watching and looking at squirrels more than actually using these for hunting. So I don't think this is a good investment for a bow hunter. However, I do think a good rangefinder is an excellent investment. Alright, 5 on my list list is deer calls. So I'm going to show you my calls, show you what I like to use, and I'll also take you through my hunting bag and show you what I keep in here. Now, I don't think it's very important to spend a lot of money on deer calls because deer aren't very vocal creatures. So you're going to use your calls very sparingly. The call I like to use is a Primo's Hardwood Grunter. It's very inexpensive, but very effective. It's got an extendable tube, and it also has a little band on it to allow you to change the pitch. The other call I like to use is just a little bleat can. It's very subtle, but very effective. I've called many deer in with a bleat can early morning. I also like to use just a wind checker. This is very simple, just a little bottle filled with powder, but it allows you to very effectively check the wind. This particular brand is Dead Downwind Scent Prevent Checkmate Wind Checker. I currently have my bag set up for turkey hunting, and I'm using my crossbow. As I mentioned before, I don't like to shoot my bow with the quiver attached. So I just put this in my bag as I'm heading out the field, and when I get to my stand or my blind, I set this close by so that I can reach it. Hunting early season, you're always going to need some bug spray. I have this turkey call in my bag because I have this bag set up for turkey calls. I'm not going to go over that in this video, but if you like, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a video on turkey calls. I always keep my binoculars in my bag. Always keep my rangefinder in my bag. I like to keep an extra set of gloves in my bag. A lot of times I'll stick them in my pockets as I'm heading out the field, but it's always nice to have an extra pair in case you forget. I always like to bring extra water with me. Always stay hydrated in the stand or in the woods. Very nice to have. This goes along with calls. A lot of people like to use big antlers and stuff like that, and they can be very cumbersome, and you can knock them around or hit them when you don't intend to. So this little rattle bag is really nice. This is a Primo's brand. Just some sticks in a bag really, but it's very effective. I've called in many bucks. I've rattled in many bucks early morning with just this little bag, and it's very compact. It's got this band around it, so you can put the band around the bag. It really helps to keep it quiet, and you don't get a whole lot of incidental noise with these bags. I also always like to keep an extra release on me, just in case I forget. Sometimes I'll stick these in my pocket. I usually like to put this on as I'm heading out to the field, just so I know that I have it. But if I ever forgot, I'd be glad I had this. I also like to keep an extra rope in my bag. Most of the stands that I set up earlier in the season, I leave my rope attached. But if I happen to forget, it's always nice to have an extra. Also, I always keep an extra face mask in my bag, again, in case I forget. If it's chilly that evening, you're going to be glad you had this in your bag. This is a very cheap little arm guard. This is a Mossy Oak brand. So when you're bow hunting in colder weather, sometimes you have a big, puffy jacket. So you can put this around your arm, and it really helps keep your jacket tight against your arm and just keep it out of the way. I always keep field spray in my bag. I don't use a whole lot of this, but as I'm heading out to the field, I do like to spray the bottom of my boots as I'm walking out. I always keep a hunter's safety orange vest in my bag. Safety first. Also, hunter's orange hat, always in my bag. Handy little tip. I like to use this little pruning saw. If I go into a stand that I haven't been to in a while, I always try to clear my shooting lanes early season. But if you haven't been to the stand for a while, sometimes there can be new growth. So it's nice to have a little something you can cut a branch out of your shooting lane with. I like to keep some Zic blocks in my bag. Sometimes I'll stick my wallet and my phone in these bags. It just kind of keeps the scent contained. And also, if I field dress a deer, it's nice to have something to slide the heart into. This one dropped on the ground here, but some of you may know what this is, some of you may not. There's plenty of videos on these on YouTube, but this is called a butt out. A very handy thing to have in the woods, especially when you're field dressing. And also, again, a nice little pair of snippers. Always nice to have to maybe cut a little limb out of your way while you're hunting. So that's it for number 5. So I wish you guys all the best of luck this season. And I really hope these tips help you save some money and have better success in the woods. I'll try and find a link to all the gear that I showed you in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that like button for me. And if you want to stay up to date on new videos I post, don't forget to subscribe.